For the green jobs of the future. Now is the time that we must ensure that Latino workers are trained and skilled for these green jobs. You know, as chair of this task force, I'm committed to addressing these issues. Now is the time to be involved because things are moving and we need to ensure that we're at the table. The American Clean Energy and Security Act, which recently passed the House, presents some of these opportunities. But we need to make sure that this training and education makes its way to the local level. And we all have to do our part to make that happen. As ACES moved to a floor vote in the House, our task force and my colleagues with the Congressional Hispanic Caucus worked to ensure that this legislation included job training and education initiatives that directly help our community. Through the efforts of the task force, the CHC, including my friend Congressman Charlie Gonzalez, on the Committee and Energy and Commerce, we were able to work with Chairman Edward Markey and incorporate language into the Innovation Hub section of the bill that includes and supports Hispanic serving institutions. Again, legislative language that will make a difference for our community. Working with the Congressional Black Caucus and Chairman Henry Waxman, we were able to incorporate language that directed funding specifically for job training. But the fight doesn't stop there. As we make sure that this legislation makes its way through the Senate and how we can get this training funding into our local communities presents more and more opportunities. You know, recently we were in New Mexico and I was introduced to some young men that are doing extraordinary things, and young women. But we have two young men that are representing Santa Fe today, an organization called YouthWorks. Dominic Cantu and Douglas Rayal live right down the road from me, actually. These young men have taken on the clean energy movement and translated it into true accomplishments for their own lives and for their own communities. They're part of Santa Fe YouthWorks, an established area nonprofit dedicated to training, finding work, and educating Hispanic youth in the community. YouthWorks Greens programs focus on green job skills training for careers in fields such as green building, construction, energy efficiency, weatherization, sustainability, conservation, and river restoration. I had the pleasure of working with YouthWorks this past spring when I participated with them in a project where YouthWorks, in partnership with the Santa Fe Area Home Builders Association, Habitat for Humanity, and the Santa Fe Community College, broke ground on a Habitat for Humanity home that was going to be built completely green in an effort to train at-risk youth in green-collar jobs. But before we hear from them, I want to acknowledge and recognize and bring to the stage the director of the program, Malin Schuyler, the executive director of Santa Fe YouthWorks.